Federal agents opened fire in Minneapolis again, killing 7-year-old U.S. citizen Alex Pretty during what authorities describe as an immigration enforcement operation, sparking outrage and demands for accountability across the country. This marks the second deadly shooting by Border Patrol and CBP officers in the city this month, with government records identifying the shooters as 3-year-old Agent Ochoa and 5-year-old Raim Gutierrez. Protests have erupted nationwide, with demonstrators clashing with police in several cities, calling for criminal investigations into the incident and an end to what critics call aggressive federal tactics. The shooting has ignited a firestorm in Congress, where Democrats are now threatening to block funding for the Department of Homeland Security unless major reforms are made to ICE operations. Senate Democrats, led by figures like Patty Murray, insist on stripping the $64.4 billion DHS bill from a larger funding package that also covers defense, health, and transportation, putting the government on the brink of a partial shutdown by midnight Friday. Republicans, holding a 53-47 Senate majority, call these demands unrealistic, with Majority Leader John Thune stating flatly that they won't negotiate under duress from the opposition. The White House is urging quick passage of the full package to avoid closing federal agencies just months after the longest shutdown in U.S. history ended last fall. Even if the funding lapses, ICE and CBP operations wouldn't grind to a halt, thanks to billions allocated in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act from last year. Democratic appropriators themselves noted that ICE has $10 billion in the bank for detention and enforcement, meaning deportations and border patrols would continue uninterrupted. But the political standoff is escalating, with Democrats pointing to the Minneapolis tragedy as proof of systemic issues, while the administration defends the agent's actions as necessary in a high-risk confrontation. House Representative Joaquin Castro highlighted a related case where a 5-year-old boy and his father were released from a Texas detention center after over a week inside, fueling accusations of overreach. This isn't just about one shooting. It's part of a broader pattern dominating headlines. The Trump administration has ramped up immigration enforcement since the president's re-election, with record deportations and workplace raids making national news. Critics say the tactics are putting American citizens in the crosshairs, as Pretty's death underscores, while supporters argue it's about securing the border amid what they call an invasion. ProPublica reports show the agents involved had clean records prior, but the incident follows repeated false claims from officials about the circumstances, only adding to the distrust. Shifting to the White House, President Trump took to Truth Social to announce a 2-year closure of the Kennedy Center, framing it as essential for turning it into the finest performing arts complex in the world. He cited ongoing renovations and low ticket sales after performer cancellations tied to backlash over his leadership changes there. The move has arts communities up in arms, with some calling it cultural vandalism, but Trump insists it'll emerge spectacular upon reopening. On the economic front, January's jobs report showed a brutal 108,000 cut by employers, the highest for any January since 2009, signaling cracks in the recovery. February data indicates some resilience with 151,000 payroll gains, but the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.1% amid rising layoffs, particularly in federal sectors. Economists warn of headwinds ahead, with 2025's full-year growth revised down to just 584,000 jobs, the weakest since 2020 outside the pandemic. Trump's tariff push is under scrutiny, too, with fact checks debunking some of his claims on boosting the economy in a recent Wall Street Journal piece. Healthcare is heating up as Trump unveiled the Trump RX site, promising steep discounts on prescription drugs directly to consumers. It's part of a broader plan to slash costs, but details are thin, and it requires congressional buy-in amid ACA funding battles. Meanwhile, HHS reversed a $2 billion cut to mental health and substance abuse programs after backlash, restoring funds following outcry from lawmakers like Rosa DeLauro. Internationally, Trump revealed talks with Cuban officials on a potential deal, noting their weakened position without Venezuelan support. He also rejected Putin's call to extend nuclear deployment caps, pushing for a new treaty after the old one expired. And in a nod to Venezuela, he's set to meet opposition leader Maria Corina Machado amid Senate blocks on war powers resolutions. But no story is burning hotter than the Epstein files. Newly released documents from the federal probe are dropping names left and right, reigniting the scandal. Trump signed a bill ordering full disclosure, giving Justice 30 days to release everything in searchable format, though victim privacy and ongoing probes allow redactions. The files include 2018 messages from Epstein boasting about dirt on Trump, whom he once called a friend before their falling out in the early 2000s. Trump denies wrongdoing, calling it a Democrat problem, and his AG pick is vowing urgency. Deepak Chopra denied involvement after his name surfaced, and Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene slammed Trump's initial opposition to release as a miscalculation. The story won't die. New video questions from Epstein's jail night are surfacing, keeping the pressure on. Democrats in Texas flipped a state Senate seat Trump won by 17 points in 2024, a sign of shifting winds. Weather's wreaking havoc, too. A bomb cyclone dumped snow from Gulf to New England, killing 2 in North Carolina and freezing Florida with iguana falling warnings. And a court doc revealed ex-Senator Kyrsten Sinema paid nearly $9,000 to a man her accuser claims wrecked his marriage. As shutdown talks drag, federal workers rally against more cuts, and Trump's Gaza proposal draws GOP defense amid court blocks on his birthright citizenship order. This is America right now, tense, divided, and moving fast. The partisan battle over DHS funding has reached fever pitch, with House Speaker Mike Johnson warning that Democrats' insistence on gutting ICE appropriations could shutter national parks, delay veterans' benefits, and halt food safety inspections nationwide. Just hours ago, the House voted 217 to 215 along party lines to advance the full stopgap bill, but Senate Democrats are digging in, led by Chuck Schumer, who called the Minneapolis shooting a tipping point demanding oversight. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testified today that a shutdown would cost the economy $1.2 billion per day, echoing the $11 billion hit from last year's impasse. Law enforcement unions are siding with the administration, praising Agents Ochoa and Gutierrez for bravery in a volatile raid where Pretty allegedly resisted arrest with a weapon. Body cam footage released preliminarily shows a chaotic scene with Pretty advancing before shots were fired, though the full video is under review by the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. Pretty's family, through attorney Benjamin Crump, claims he was unarmed and targeted wrongly as a Latino citizen, pointing to ICE's quota pressures under Trump's mass deportation mandate. Similar incidents in Atlanta and Phoenix have prompted mayors to bar federal agents from local jurisdictions without warrants. Trump addressed the crisis from the Oval Office, vowing no retreat on border security and directing DHS to use emergency powers if Congress fails. These agents are heroes protecting our communities from criminals, he said, referencing a spike in fentanyl seizures up 42% year over year. Critics counter with data showing 85% of ICE arrests target non-criminals per a 2025 ACLU analysis. The standoff ties into broader fights, like the stalled confirmation of Trump's border czar pick amid ethics probes. Economy-wise, the Labor Department reports manufacturing added 12,000 jobs last month, but retail bled 45,000 amid holiday hangover and tariff fears. Fed Chair Powell hinted at no rate cuts until Q3, citing sticky inflation at 2.8%. Trump's team touts the USMCA renegotiation as saving 250,000 auto jobs, though unions dispute the numbers. Epstein saga deepens. Documents unsealed yesterday list over 170 associates, including fresh details on Bill Clinton's 26 flights to Little Street James, denied visits to the island itself. Alan Dershowitz's name reappears with emails seeking Epstein's help on defamation suits, which he calls fabricated. Trump distanced himself, noting Epstein's 2004 Mar-a-Lago ban after hitting on a teen staffer per sworn testimony. Deputy AG Pam Bondi declared the case over for Trump, but promised probes into any leads. Nike faces a DOJ probe into DEI hiring practices, with documents showing quotas sidelining white applicants per whistleblower leaks. The company denies illegality, but stock dipped 3% on the news. Severe weather grips the Midwest. Tornadoes in Oklahoma killed 4, power out for 2 million as climate models predict warmer winters fueling extremes. Bird flu jumps to dairy cows in 6 states, prompting milk recalls. USDA assures pasteurization kills it, but prices up 15%. Trump's Iran talks stall after Tehran rejects no enrichment demands. Intel warns of breakout capability in months. Venezuela's Maduro regime crumbles without Russian aid, opening doors for U.S. oil deals. Women's sports boom. Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary tops $10M with endorsements as league revenue hits $3B. But Title IX fights rage over trans athletes in girls' divisions. Federal workers protest in D.C., fearing unpaid furloughs. 800,000 affected last time. Gaza aid convoy bombed. 100 dead. Trump proposes U.S. oversight of reconstruction. As clock ticks to shutdown, all eyes on Capitol Hill, where a marathon vote looms tonight. Capitol Hill is a powder keg as the shutdown clock winds down, with procedural votes failing twice already in the Senate on a stripped DHS bill. GOP hardliners like Matt Gaetz demand no compromises, tweeting, "Fund the wall or fund the chaos," while moderates eye a clean CR to buy time. Behind closed doors, Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, is shuttling between chambers, reportedly offering concessions on Ukraine aid to sway holdouts. If it lapses, air traffic control sees delays, Smithsonian closes, but military paychecks flow uninterrupted. Back to Minneapolis. Autopsy confirms Pretty died of multiple torso shots, with toxicology clean, no drugs or alcohol. ICE defends the raid as targeting a smuggling ring, seizing 50 kilograms meth hidden in Pretty's garage. National Guard deployed to quell riots where 20 arrested after Molotovs hit a precinct. Al Sharpton joins the family's presser, vowing lawsuits under Bivens for excessive force. Immigration stats paint a stark picture. 2.4 million encounters. FY2025, down 30% from Biden era, thanks to Remain in Mexico revival. But Interior enforcement up 200%, netting 400K deportations, mostly via workplace stings. Critics highlight humanitarian toll kids separated at record rates, tent cities in Texas straining resources. Economy update. ISM Services Index hits 50. 2.3, expansion territory, but consumer confidence slips to 98 on shutdown fears. Bitcoin surges past $110K on Trump's crypto reserve nod, Wall Street up 1.2%. Apple warns tariffs could hike iPhone prices 20%, sparking trade war jitters. Epstein files bonanza. Unredacted logs show Prince Andrew 17 visits, Ghislaine Maxwell recruiting at Mar-a-Lago events pre-ban. New name. Hollywood exec Harvey Weinstein sought Epstein's modeling agency contacts. Trump, I wish her well on Maxwell's appeal denial, but pushes full transparency. House oversight demands FBI turnover all docs by Feb 15. Nike DEI probe widens, EEOC sues over diversity multipliers in promotions, citing 2024 hires 80% non-white despite applicant pool. CEO apologizes, vows compliance review. Storm aftermath. FEMA declares disasters in 12 states. $5 aid requested. California wildfires rage on, displacing 10K. Bird flu in humans. Mild cases in 50 farm workers. Vaccine trials accelerate. Foreign policy. Trump greenlights $10B arms to Ukraine, but ties to mineral rights. Zelensky visits D.C. next week. China tariffs phase 2 hits EVs. Steel Beijing retaliates on soy. Sports surge. NCAA women's basketball final averages 20 M viewers, up 50%. NIL deals reshape college athletics. Gaza. U.S. peer delivers 1 M meals daily, but Hamas diverts half per IDF intel. Trump floats safe zone in Sinai. Shutdown averted? Sources say deal close, but fireworks expected. A last-minute Senate deal passes 51-49, averting shutdown by funding DHS through March at current levels. No ICE cuts, but mandates independent review of fatal raids. Trump signs it at 11:45 p.m., tweeting, "Victory for law and order, Democrats blinked." Relief washes over feds, but tensions simmer with midterm shadows looming. Johnson hails it as proof GOP governs, while Schumer laments kicking the can. Minneapolis probe escalates. DOJ opens civil rights investigation into Ochoa and Gutierrez, suspending them pending review. Protests dwindle, but lawsuits mount. Pretty estate sues for $50M, alleging racial profiling. ICE chief. Operations continue. 1,200 arrests today nationwide. Border metrics. Apprehensions plunge 60% post-inauguration, crediting executive orders and Mexico's troop surge. Critics decry family separations. UN calls it systematic cruelty. Jobs rebound. February private payrolls plus 177K, beating forecasts. Unemployment steady at 4%. Dow closes at record 40, 2,500 on deregulation hopes. Inflation cools to 2.4%, but housing costs bite median home dollar, 420K. Epstein trove. Flight manifests confirm Clinton 5 post-presidency trips, denies island knowledge. Bill Gates admits meetings for philanthropy, regrets association. New. Reid Hoffman funded accuser lawyers per emails. Bondi. No Trump implication. Focus on perps. Nike settles DEI suit for $75M. Ends quotas shares rebound 4%. Weather recovery. Red Cross AIDS 500K. Climate bill stalls in Senate. Bird flu vaccine EUA sought for herds. Iran. Trump ultimatum zero enrichment or strikes. Intel shows 90% weapons grade stockpile. Venezuela. Machado meets Trump tomorrow. Aid pledged. WNBA expansion to 18 teams. $1B valuation. Gaza truce talks. Hamas releases 10 hostages. U.S. mediates. Nation exhales, but fault lines deepen. With shutdown dodged, attention pivots to Epstein's shadow lengthening over elites. Today's dump. 200-plus pages detail Epstein's 2017 White House visits pitching intelligence network logged under Trump admin but pre-ban. No meetings with POTUS per Secret Service, but AIDS flagged concerns. Clinton camp, all trips legit, anti-trafficking work. Public fury peaks polls show 68% demand full probes. Trust in institutions at lows. DOJ timeline. Bondi announces task force prioritizing live leads. Maxwell trial transcripts unsealed show Epstein name. Dropped Trump positively pre-feud. Conspiracy theories swirl, but feds stick to facts. 36 indictments pending from files. Immigration calm settles. Minneapolis Memorial draws thousands. Pretty laid to rest amid calls for reform. Trump tours border wall extension in AZ, claims 90% complete. Economy roars. S&P up 2%. Tesla hits $500 on robo-taxi nod. Unemployment claims fall to 210K. Tariff exemptions for allies announced, easing fears. Nike overhaul. New policy merit only. Similar suits hit Google Disney. Weatherfront passes. Economy hit $20B. Biden. Era infrastructure funds aid rebuilds. Global. Ukraine drone strikes Crimea depot. Trump okays ATACMS use inside Russia. China trade truce talks start Geneva. Sports. Super Bowl hype Chiefs favored over Eagles rematch. Wait, 2026 SB LVXI. Gaza. Ceasefire holds 48 hours. Aid flows. Epstein dominates feeds, reshaping narratives.